Havoc Brewing Company has its roots in home brewing. I started as a home brewer. My head brewer here, Andy Smith, actually taught me just about everything I know about beer and beer drinking. And I discovered, once he and I left the Navy, we served together for a while as officers in the Navy. And I visited his house in Hickory, North Carolina, and he served me a beer, and I was bowled over by it. I thought it was delicious. And I said, "This is great. Where'd you get this beer from?" And he said, "In my garage." I said, "There's no way." So he takes me in and he shows me buckets, and he's brewing beer in buckets. And I think, all right, I have to know more about this. So I kept coming back weekend after weekend, and he's teaching me how to brew beer in buckets until we ended up moving away from Charlotte, and I took what he taught me with me and started brewing on my own. So I went from 5-gallon brewing to 10-gallon brewing, all the way to 1-barrel size batches in my garage, which really became its own little microbrewery in the neighborhood. And as COVID came around and bars and restaurants began to shut down, I was brewing a lot of beer at home for friends and neighbors, and turned out that in my neighborhood that the driveway at my house was kind of the place to go on a Friday night. You could come and hang out, grab a pint without worrying about COVID or all the other stuff going on. And from that, people began to envision a brewery. I wasn't sold on the idea at first. I was happy being retired from my career and doing something else, taking care of my kids and stuff and brewing beer at home. And we ended up going to a homebrew competition over in Tennessee. And we entered 3 beers in that competition, and they did extraordinarily well. I was surprised. Out of over 100 and something entries, all of our beers came in the top 15. And that night, my friends from the neighborhood kind of cornered me and said, "Look, we're going to open a brewery," and that's just how it is. So I was pretty excited. I had always thought that I brewed pretty okay beer, but when other people started telling me that it was good beer, I thought, all right, maybe there's something to do here. So we started putting it all together. Really, Havoc Brewing Company was kind of born in the middle of the pandemic crisis. The idea for us about Havoc, as I said before, Havoc is the whole world. The world is Havoc. It's chaos. There's really not a lot to control in the complexity of our world. But from that, from the constant cycle of creation and destruction that happens in our world, you get some beautiful things, and beer is one of those things. So you'll see our logo actually is a phoenix rising from a hop cone. And for me, that's personal in myself, because coming from a career where getting out of the career that I was in was really kind of traumatic, and so this is kind of a rebirth for me. But also the world and life itself is that, as I said, that creative destruction. So even to brew beer, we take grain and we kind of crush it and we destroy it, we mash it and we do things to it, and through that process it's transformed into something else, and it kind of rises out of its own ashes to something that's age-old and delicious. The name Havoc, it has its own story. Havoc Brewing Company, the word Havoc, my business partner Troy, who right now, actually, he'd probably be sitting next to me, except Troy's deployed. He's in the Army National Guard, and he's currently in Kuwait. In a previous deployment, he was in Afghanistan, and his unit call sign was Havoc. And he was Havoc Actual. So we chose the name Havoc to both reflect all of what I've already said, but also kind of a personal connection to our identity as veterans. He's Army and I'm Navy. But we also have a beer named after him. So our best-selling beer, our Mexican lager, is named Havoc Actual, and that's in kind of honor of Troy and all those who've served with us.